Thank you for joining.
So Daddy will be going back.
Good evening, friends. Good evening, distinguished friends. Thank you for joining me tonight as we attempt to delve into business success and leadership. I appreciate everyone from everywhere you are joining me, and I want you to put in the comment section where you are joining us from. My apologies for the technical itch that we earlier encountered in the process of coming on live. So today we're going to be dealing with business success and leadership. This is a very critical subject for everyone who aspires to do well in life. One of the things that is very, very critical in business is the value creation. Like I used to say, that until value is created, you are not entitled to make money. There are a lot of people today that want to make money via business, but they have not learned the way of value creation, authentic value creation. Now, business is beyond making a profit margin. It is about creating value, solving problems, and leaving a positive impact around for the people. So it's all about mastering your strategy, your system, and ensuring that you are able to deliver on your mandate. There are a lot of people today that really want to start an entrepreneurial endeavor, or perhaps they want to start a business. There is a difference between being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. For an entrepreneur, you're trying to commercialize a business idea and, of course, put a process of sustainability around it to ensure that it's sustainable beyond you. But for a business owner, he just want to run a business. He want to own a business. He want to run a business like other people. So that is entirely different. So at the heart of business is value creation. Of course, there are indices or pillars of business success. Business will not just succeed on its own. There are some pillars that it runs on, because that we need to get very clearly from onset. Number one is vision, a, a definition of clear vision, purpose, direction. Where are you going? What are you intending to do? What is your business out to deliver? What is the mandate of your business? This has to be clearly defined to anyone, all your stakeholders, your customers, your creditors, the people that you're going to be working with, your vendors. Everyone needs to be clear. Nobody should be in doubt of your business vision. The next thing is innovation, your ability to adapt to different situations and be able to create solutions that will meet the needs of your customers. The next thing is integrity. Unfortunately, we live in a climate where people do business with lack of integrity, you know, no honesty in their dealings. People will willingly want to relate with you if they know that you are honest with your dealings, you are fair, you are accountable. And it is this building a culture of integrity into your business that makes your business to succeed. In fact, you can be making money as a business person, but if there is no integrity, it will not last long. Integrity is one key pillar that guarantees business success. In fact, people will want to relate with you if they know that you are honest in your dealings. That is even enough to bring people that ordinarily will not want to deal with you, because they have checked around, they've checked your profile, they've done a due diligence on your business, and they've seen that, oh, you are a credible business person, and they will be willing to deal with you. There are a lot of business opportunities that a honest entrepreneur will attract rather than a fraudulent individual. Of course, excellence is also key. Delivering value that exceed the expectation of your customers. Very critical, very important. Value, exceeding expectation, excellence. Quality. People will patronize you if they are sure of the quality. I've seen myself in a situation where I patronize certain people in business because of the recommendation of their quality, the quality level, the excellence that they put into the business. So that on its own will guarantee repeat business patronage when people are able to verify, to authenticate that you are a business person that delivers is with excellence. Now, the Bible makes us to understand in Proverbs chapter 22 and in verse 29, it says, "See thou an excellent man in his business dealings. He will not only stand before the men, he will stand before the kings." So, excellence brings you to the attention of commanders, of the kings, because you have seen the way you deal with people. And now, relationship, building strong partnership that aligns with your values. Relationship is very key. You must build strong alliance, partnerships that align with your values. Values are very, very critical. And that is the reason why all of these things have to be defined as part of your culture. Nobody should be in doubt in the definition of the culture of your business. Now, let me delve a little bit into business things. Having looked at the pillars, I earlier said that it's not enough to be making money. I mentioned something about sustainability of your operation as an entrepreneur. Even if you are making money today, what is the sustainability, the continuity of that making money? If there is no positive culture in that business that you do. Now, what does doing business, what does it entails? For new person that want to start, it starts with an idea, a validated idea, a product, a service you want to sell. Most people will tell you they need money. And I do say to people that money is not the number one thing you need in business. I know that you need money. Oh, yes, money is required. We're going to talk about that shortly. But that is not number one. Number one thing is a sellable idea, validated idea based on customer needs that you have verified. Not that you just want to do something that is appealing to you because of the things you have seen other people do. No, you want to do something that will meet the expectation of your clients, of your customers. Validated idea. Then understanding your market. Who are the people you want to serve? Who are the customers that want to buy into the idea or the value you want to create? Who are the people that want to key into the business that you do? You need to verify that. You need to understand the nature of your market. You need to understand who are the other people that are playing in that market. Who are your competitors? Because that will go a long way in knowing how you want to enter into the market if you are a new entrant into that particular market space. And if you have been there for some time, if you don't do a thorough market analysis and then you just begin to cruise on in business, the same way you are cruising on, the same way you cruise out, because that also shows that you don't have a good understanding of the market you want to play. It's not, when a business fails, it's not because the product is not good. Sometimes it can mean that you don't understand the nature of the market where you want to play. It may also mean that you don't understand who are the people, who is the market leader in that particular space where you want to be playing. What is the structure existing in that market? Is it a monopoly? If it's a monopoly, you are the only person in that market. It's a different ball game entirely. Hello, people. How are we there? If you are just joining me tonight, I want you to indicate wherever you are joining us from, all over, maybe from Nigeria or outside Nigeria. Please indicate in the comment section. We are already delving into the business success and leadership. What does it mean? Yeah? What does it take for a business to succeed? We have spoken about the pillars of business success. Now we are delving into business as a whole. How you can start if you are planning to start one. And if you're already in one, you will begin to see perhaps the business is having a challenge or an issue. What you need to do. Now, you're talking about your market plan or your marketing plan. You're talking about the articulation of what you want to deliver in the marketplace, articulation of your product offers or service offers or service offerings. You want to talk about the pricing of your product. Very critical. And that is why in the we earlier spoke about the understanding of the market, talking about the competitors, because your own price cannot be different from the people in the market. Otherwise, you price yourself out. While you are trying to also recover the cost of setting up your business, you also want to look at what are the people in the market charging. What kind of price are they charging? More importantly, when you are not the only person selling that product in that market. Pricing is critical. Pricing is important because it depends on the nature of the product you are selling. There are products that are price sensitive, in which case, if you change your price, it will drop. For instance, if you increase your price for an elastic product, it will immediately affect your demand. The demand can drop immediately if you increase your price. So pricing is very sensitive. Then where do you want to sell? Choices place, not in a hidden place where people can actually get to patronize you. It is not enough to say that you are selling a product that is not available. So the place where you want to sell your product is very, very important. The place is critical. Of course, they're talking about the promotion, how you want to enter into the market, what kind of thing you want to do to ensure that you enter the market in a grand style, letting people know. Perhaps you want to advertise about your product. And as part of the marketing plan is your sales plan. How do you want to sell? What method do you want to sell your product? You want to sell it online? You want to have a physical place where you want to sell? These are some of the uh, 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 things that you need to look at. And if today you are running a business that many of these things were not factored in, you should begin to look at them one by one. Yes, dimensioning your risk. Your risk management plan is very, very critical. And of course, your communication plan. How do you intend to reach your customers? Now, business without thorough communication is like a best kept secret. If you don't communicate what you have in such a way that nobody knows what you have, nobody knows about it. And today, in this age of technology, there are many things, a lot of opportunities for us to advertise our product out there. Hello? Yeah. So, communication plan. And that communication plan should consider your customers. Who are those customers you are trying to target? What is the best communication strategy for to be able to reach those people? You can imagine you are trying to reach the young people today via television. How many of them watch television today? You can meet those category of people on the social media. So now, talking about raising finance for your business, because I know a lot of people will say finance is very yeah, money is very key in starting a business, but it's not the number one thing, like I said earlier. But of course, you need money. You can perhaps you want to save money, you want to get a soft loan from your friends, from your family, and I would not advise that you immediately uh, 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 go into borrowing money. No, I will not advise, because when you borrow money, borrowing money requires that you service interest on the money you are borrowing, especially from financial institution. But when you are starting, you may not necessarily need to incur debt. I am not saying you cannot borrow, but it's advisable because starting a business is not that easy. You might encounter maybe a challenge that you will never prepare for, that might wipe off all of the things that you already have. So now, packaging your business in a way that it becomes attractive to your customers becomes very important. Packaging it, presenting it in such a way that it will have the look and feel of what the people want. I'm sure you know that if you are trying to reach a general market, yeah, there are people that the pricing is very critical to them. But for people, the high-end customers, depending on the where you are trying to play, for the high-end customers, those ones, they are not entirely price sensitive. They want to look at the look and feel of your business. They want to look at the packaging. They want to look at the way you present your offers. Those are the kind of thing you call the augmented benefits that will make them attracted to your business. Now, let me quickly talk about leadership before we open to questions. Leadership. You know that business and leadership, they are intertwined. It takes leadership to be able to set up a business that will endure, a business that will succeed eventually. Of course, you know that leadership is not a title. It's not about position, occupying a position. It's about influence. It's about impact. It's about service to the people. And when we're talking about influence, you want to grow your influence in such a way, it starts from the right that your position gives you to a level where you can have relationship. It grows to relationship enabled by permission that people give you into their lives. And of course, it moves on to production, and of production results, then people management, where you can reproduce what you are producing. At the level 3, you are the one producing it. You are producing the result. But you move on to managing people in such a way that you can replicate the result you are producing. And then at the final level of it, you get to a pinnacle, the zenith, where you now earn respect. Where you earn respect. Yeah. Now, it is impact that makes a leader to be remembered even when he's no longer in that position. Impact. And it is, when we're talking about business success and leadership, it teaches us that whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a professional, that we must lead with clarity, with humility, and with courage. Leadership is not a right, it is a privilege. So, you don't have anything to do with leading if you are not ready to serve. You don't have anything to do with leading if you are not ready to serve. What are the keys, the core keys to leadership? Unlocking your leadership. Number 1 is self-leadership. Ability to manage yourself. Until you are able to manage yourself, you cannot manage others. Ability to manage your own emotions, to manage your time, to manage your habits, to manage your growth. And that's why emotional intelligence is very critical. Of course, visionary thinking. You must be a visioneer, seeing beyond the present, inspiring others to move towards a preferred future. And visionary thinking must characterize an entrepreneur, a business person, to command followership. Visionary thinking. And I want you to know whether you work for yourself, or you work for someone. Visionary thinking is non-negotiable. Nobody wants to follow a visionless individual parading himself or herself to be a leader, whether at home, whether in the office, whether in the religious place, anywhere you'll find yourself. A leader is not a clueless individual. You don't command followership until people see vision. You don't command attention until people see vision, visionary thinking. Now, empowerment of people, raising others, not just using them, you are raising them. Great leader multiply capacity in others. As a leader, whether a leader in an entrepreneurial space, a leader in an office setting, you want to raise other people, not just using them to achieve result. People are not material to use to achieve result. You raise them. So you have to lead with vision. You have to lead it with empathy. You have to understand the feelings of the other people. Yes, as a leader, you're involved in decision making every day, in which case you draw from the wisdom of God and from the wisdom of other people around you. Talking about drawing wisdom from God, wisdom that goes beyond logic. Because every day you will be making tough decisions as a leader or as a business leader. Let me put it that way. And you will need courage to make those decisions. You need to carry people along in all that you do. Of course, as a leader, you have to be resilient, staying steady even under pressure. Oh, yes. We have seen that even in the biblical, there are some models in the Bible that exemplify all of this. We saw Nehemiah as a leader who combined vision with discipline, of course, prayer with strategy, and courage with humility. And that is leadership unlocked in action. I'm sure you know that God is the greatest leader of all ages. When you read Genesis chapter 1, you see that at creation, Genesis 1, we saw vision. God saw the way it was. He had something in mind that he wanted to create. He had an idea in mind, a beautiful picture that he was looking at. There was vision, there was organization. Not everything was created at the same time. There was planning. And eventually, at the end of it, there is an empowerment, meaning that I think probably around Genesis 1:26, that he made men to be leader of his creation. That is people empowerment. Now, let me quickly say that leadership is responsibility. Until you are ready to accept responsibility, you are not ready to be a leader. And as a business person, leadership is not optional. As an entrepreneur, don't forget I spoke about sustainability of operation, and that is where leadership comes in, where you'll be able to carry people along, empower people, such that they'll be able to carry on. So your leadership skill must be a top notch. One of the critical skill of an entrepreneur, a business person, or someone that is probably an aspiring business leader, is leadership skill. This is non-negotiable. So leadership is responsibility. Acceptance of responsibility is key in leadership. Oh yes. There are people that are interested in the perks and the privileges that a position, a leadership position, guarantees or grants, but they are not interested in leading the people delivering a service, creating an impact. So irresponsibility denies people of their place, and at some other times people uh, delegate their responsibility. As a leader, you cannot. Yes, you can. There is delegation, in which case you can delegate others to do certain things, but there are things you can't delegate. For instance, you can delegate vision. People can see vision for you. You have to give them vision by which they will follow you with. They cannot create a vision for you. So you must be ready to accept responsibility. And let me say this, that as a leader, you don't run away from problems you are wired to solve. Now, intertwine business and business and leadership. In business, there are problems you want to solve. So, as a business leader, you are there to solve problems. Don't run away from problems you are created, you are wired to solve. This is very critical and important. Now, let me quickly give us the key and then we open so that we can have questions for people who want to ask questions. Strategic planning is very important. Set measurable, purposeful goals. Skill development, where you are constantly learning, adapting, and upgrading yourself as a leader. You are not static, you are not stagnant, because the environment is evolving. Even the people you are leading to be able to meet up with the challenges of the age, or the new challenges that may emerge, you must be constantly upgrading yourself. You must be willing to learn, and adaptability must become a core area for you. And yes, mentorship, your willingness to learn from people who have gone ahead of you. I think I will stop here for now so that we can entertain questions from all our friends around the world, from Nigeria, outside Nigeria, that are joining us on this call as we delve into business success and leadership today. So I'll be willing to take our questions. If there are questions that we have, maybe probably you drop your questions in the comment section. Um, so we are willing to take your question. Okay, I've seen one question. How do I manage theft? Uh, Friends all over the world, thank you for staying with us tonight as we delve into business success and leadership. Thank you very much. We appreciate. All right, I have one question here, and the question is, how do I manage theft as a startup business owner that is not always on site? I spoke about something about a risk management plan. When you are starting a business, you have to dimension the risk embedded in your business very well. Otherwise, some risk, when they crystallize, they can ruin your business entirely. Like what he just mentioned, that's a risk for someone that is not on site as a business owner. Now, you have to be sure that you have a system, not entirely process, a system to deal with theft. Probably you want to use technology. Probably you want to put a process in place to guarantee that, to reduce the incidence of theft to the barest minimum. That is not to say that whatever you do might be a foolproof depending on the nature of your business. I will give you a typical example. If your business involves uh, having some things to sell in your shop or in your office, you will want to probably install a camera where you can actually monitor from anywhere all over the world where you are to see how things are going on in your office in your very absence. And that's what the technology can do. So that is one way of dealing with issue like theft, where your business involves selling. In other words, you might also do it in such a way that there is no how you can sell without going through system. You can't sell without system. And there are cameras that have been installed all over the whole place, and you can monitor that camera from anywhere you are. Anywhere. Anywhere. That is one way, technological way. Unless where you have a trusted fellow, but that's quite uh, a manual way of dealing with issues like this. Because if you don't have a trusted fellow, then you might probably want to go the route of a technology, which has been proven over time, you know, where that has been proven over time that it is very efficient and it works well. This is a risk that you cannot run away from. It will surely be, it will sure, even when you are there, you cannot be there. Even if you are, if you are on site, you can't be there 24 hours. There are times you need to go out. Maybe you need to strike a deal and you'll be outside of the office. So what happens the moment you are not there? And that is also one reason why building a process around what you do, a system, a system around your business becomes very, very critical. For instance, money does not leave your organization except certain level of approvals have been put in place. But where anybody can bring out money, there is no segregation of responsibility or duty. Only accountant and the manager, they can just bring money out of your business. Then you're going to run into a very critical issue very, very soonest. So there must be a system around it where there's a graduated level of approvers before money can go out of your organization. That way, it will guide against financial theft. It might not be a foolproof, but it will reduce the incidence to the barest minimum. I hope we have been able to deal with this. Okay. I also have a business here. What business can someone do with 300,000 and come out successfully? There are many businesses that can be done with 300,000 today. It depends on what is needed and the where you want to play as a person. It's not about how the amount of money that you want to put into the business, but is the identification of needs and you coming up as a person to fill the need that you have found. For instance, in a certain place, you discover that in this arena there is no business center there. Then you want to plan a business center, or maybe you discover that in this particular area there is no access to good food. Today, you can start maybe not really a restaurant per se, but supply people with good food. In quote, a, a, a modern mama put, a modern mama put, where you build a structure, something very structural that may even look like a kiosk, but very neat one, very good one, and capitalizing on that need, you begin to supply them food, good food, rich food that people will always want to come to you to eat that kind of food. It doesn't matter where you are. It is about you identifying a need, a gap that you want to fill. Because if you have not identified the gap, even if you spend 500,000, 1 million, it might be a waste at the end of the day. So there are many, many business. In fact, you can start, you want to say, oh, you want to start frying akara. As crude as it may look like, if there is a need for akara, and there's going to you are proving that there's going to be a patronage, it might end up being a big deal for you. Don't forget the need and the value, meeting the need, solving the problem. That's the most critical thing in business. It might also be selling water, where you discover there is no good water that people can drink, and you want to look for a way where you can supply water to people. Yes. Now, another person is asking us, how do you prioritize your growth and development as a leader? Growth and development as a leader. Yes, you have to be intentional about everything. As a leader, I mentioned that skill development is non-negotiable because we live in a world that is constantly evolving. New challenges are coming, new opportunities, new challenges. In fact, new opportunities come with new challenges. So, for you to be able to deal with such, you must be open to growth and development. That is critical. Learning new things, reading about new things, so that you'll be able to know how to deal with such in your business, because now we're in the age of technology. How do you ensure that you are able to use technology? Not just technology, where AI is here with us, artificial intelligence. How can AI help you in your business? To pretend as if, oh, nothing so much is happening. I've always been, I have patronage, and I'll always be relevant. If you don't open yourself to learning new things that will ensure your adaptability and resilience in the face of evolving challenges, business challenges, and issues, it will be a problem. And for you to stay relevant, you must be open to development. The only way to grow as a leader is to open yourself to learning new things, reading as much as you can. Yeah, that is very critical. Someone is asking, um, what are the common challenges you face as a leader, and how do you overcome them? Oh, every leader have their own challenges, and it depends on where you are leading people. For instance, if you are a business leader, you may have a challenge of people management. How do you manage people? How do you deal with people? People are unique. People are important in business. Without people, it is difficult to succeed as a business person. There will always be people that are dishonest. There will always be people that are not loyal. But how do you deal with issues like that? And how do you overcome them? Number one thing that you should know in people management is that you are not there to use people, you are to raise people. When people know that you are not using them, whether in the office, whether in your business, where you only want people to deliver for you and you are not interested in their well-being, you are not interested in their welfare, you're going to have a problem. So always ensure that you are you are there as a leader to raise people. Now, you must be ready to motivate people. Motivation is very critical as a leader, uh, you know, and that will help you to arrest the challenge of demotivation. People problem is the biggest problem that a leader can face. Oh yes, system problem is a minor thing, but people problem is a critical problem. And how do you overcome it is what I've just mentioned. Prioritize the welfare of your people. Be interested in the people's welfare. And when you are a leader that is interested in the people, people will automatically be interested in you and what you do. It's a law that cannot be broken. But when you are not interested in them, you only want to use them to achieve a mileage, to achieve result, then you will surely have a problem. Now, I have another question here. What are the key habits that separate people who grow financially from those who remain stuck at the same level? Financial growth is very, very critical. Financial growth is attainable, and that guarantees your financial independence. Number one thing you need to know is you must have a sense of value creation. value creation. Because until you create value, you cannot earn value. Value returns back to everyone that creates value. When you create value, value returns to you in terms of money. That is number one, the authentic way of, first of all, making money. And now, managing money is another concept entirely. You first of all create the money, and number two, you manage the money. If you spend money anyhow, you may not be able to grow financially. Making money is critical, and as much important as making money is, you must put a system in place to be able to manage the money you are creating. How do you manage the money you are creating? You monitor your expenses. How do you manage the money you are creating? You build a culture of savings. How do you manage the money you are creating? You build a culture of investment. Money makes money. When you make money, when you create money from value that you have created, then you replicate the money by either savings, investing, or going to some other venture that will guarantee that the money keeps coming. You must always be at the back of your mind that a time will come that you may not be able to run up and down as a business person. And that's at the time you must create a system. The reason why creating a system around your business is critical is because you may not always be there at all times. So if you must grow financially, you must ensure that your expenses doesn't rise above your income, and then cultivate habit of investment. This is very, very important. Otherwise, you can be creating money, you can be making money, and you are not able to become financially independent. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this line. We still have more questions to deal with, and we'll try as much as possible to deal with uh, um, as many questions that we have here. If we are not able to deal with your questions, I'm going to personally respond to them. So you will need to follow me on my social media page. So, what is the difference between prosperity according to the world and prosperity according to God? All right, this is a very critical and important question. You know, when you're talking about prosperity, nobody hates prosperity. Prosperity is very, very important to everyone. In fact, God is interested in the prosperity of the people that follows him. Is interested in prosperity of his servant. Now, how do people in the world define prosperity? Perhaps prosperity is defined in monetary terms based on the people in the world. Prosperity, they just define it, explain it by financial terms, monetary terms. But prosperity goes beyond financial terms. And when it comes to God, just like we said, that God is interested in the prosperity of everyone that follows him, because God is not a user of men, he's a raiser of men. So he's interested in the prosperity of the people. So how does he see prosperity? Prosperity encompasses the flourishing of your soul, the flourishing of your spirit, the flourishing of your body, everything, all encompassing. As much as your soul is prospering, as much as you are prospering financially, then your spirit must also be prospering. Earthwise flourishing, that is prosperity. Spirit flourishing, that is prosperity. It is not prosperity in the arena of God. It's not just measured by money. And I do know that even in our world, people don't ordinarily want to relate with people who only have money but no character, money without integrity, money without sustainable impact. A lot of people don't want to deal with such people. So prosperity in the arena of God, it goes beyond money. It is in the world, people want to explain prosperity by money alone, that it's the amount of money you have in your bank account, the amount of cash you have, probably in your bank account or at home, that defines how prosperous you are. In fact, in the eyes of God, your spirit may be prospering, but there is no, in the immediate term, the financial backing, but it's a question of time, it will soon come. And friends, we need to understand the difference in this. Very, very important. Now, somebody's also asking another question here. What marketing skills should be adopted by a new person in business? Marketing skill. Well, marketing skill is indispensable for every business person, every entrepreneur, because you must be able to market your products, your services, and you must be able to um, craft a marketing plan that suits your product or that suits your service. Now, again, when you're talking about marketing skills, your ability to convince other people about what you say. One of the key things that is required in marketing a product is the benefit that such product or service will offer. Now, there are two types of benefits. We have the functional benefits, we have the augmented benefits. Functional benefit speaks to what are the literal benefit that somebody will derive. What kind of things, what does that product or service will do to the people that you are trying to market such product to? What need will it meet? What exact need? For instance, if you are running a car business, it is to let your people know that the people you are trying to market or you are trying to serve, that you will be willing to give them a qualitative service, taking them from point A to point B without delay, ensuring that you are there on time to pick them up and ensuring that you take them to their destination where they are going. Your ability of your business to take the people to where they are going in good time as a transporter, as a person that is running a car business, becomes a very critical, a functional benefit. And that's the kind of thing you will talk about when you are marketing your product. So your ability to convince a customer or will-be customer or what benefit he or she stands to gain by patronizing you or buying your product or service is number one thing that must be at the back of your mind. And of course, the augmented benefit. Augmented benefit speaks to the emotional benefit, the look and feel of your product. It's not just your functional product that people want to relate with, but the look and feel, it also matters when you are trying to market your product. Like I said, marketing scale is not negotiable, and you have to devise various means by which you can market, you can ensure that your product reaches the final consumer. Perhaps you want to do it online, perhaps you want to cite a place that will be within the reach of your customers. Then that will also mean that you need to know where your customer stays, where your customer live. So I hope we have been able to answer this question. Wow. Wow. Okay. Someone is asking, what is the strategy for starting a business with little or no finance? Having mapped out your plan. Okay, maybe the person is trying to say probably he has mapped out a plan, but what strategy is needed to start a business with little or no finance? Well, this is uh, easily relatable for business, maybe things like services. If it is a service, well, there are some services that you don't need so much in terms of equipment, in terms of office setup. What you can, in fact, you can do it from your house, and you can attend to people from wherever you are, maybe from online and all of that. So there are a lot of businesses you can do with little or no finance. And let me also say something at this point. When people know that you are credible people, even if you don't have finance to start, you can partner with people, because there are people today who are financial angels. They have money, but they don't know what to do with the money. They are even looking for people that can trade with the money, credible people who can trade with those money and deliver some returns for them. So, talking about strategy for starting a business. Now, strategy is unique to different businesses. It's not one size fits all. It depends on what kind of business you are trying to start. The strategy for starting a barbing business will be different from strategy for starting a car business, and the same way it will be different from strategy you need to put in place when you are starting a food business. For instance, if you are starting a barbing business, uh, all that you need to start with is your clipper and your skill to be able to cut for people very well. And you don't need a big shop. In fact, you can start small. You can start from erecting something that look like a kiosk, but then you so package the kiosk in such a way that you determine the kind of people you want to patronize your business. The way you start your business will also determine the kind of people that will patronize your business. For instance, you are starting a barbing business under a tree and with your clipper. Of course, the people that will patronize will be different. When you build a small kiosk, you don't need to rent a shop or maybe an office space if you don't have the money yet. So you can build something small, but inside that something small, you so decorate it. In fact, you can put even an AC there. You can put a TV there. You can even put uh, 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 apart from putting a TV there, you can make it in such a way that it looks nice, and when people come around, they feel cool. In fact, you may even want to serve them a soft drink. Now, that has changed the caliber of people that will patronize your business. So, the strategy that you're going to use in any business you are starting depends on the business you want to go into. So, every business have their uniqueness, and you can always craft a strategy that fit it into your business model. So that is very, very important. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Again, don't forget that A verifiable idea is the number one thing you need. Let me give you an instance. I've seen someone that is in a food business, and this person is not even in a big, in fact, you can call it a booker that this person has erected, just a tent. But if you see the caliber of people that are coming to patronize this business in the central business area, you will be amazed. People come from their offices because, number one, there is a need for good food. Then she capitalizes on it. And then number two, she's doing it with excellence, delivering value for money. When you go there and you eat the food, you'll know that there is value for the money you have spent. So it doesn't matter. And this woman has moved from various places within the center, not having a proper, is it shop, you call it, or is it a big place, you call it a big restaurant. You don't need a restaurant if you want to go into a food business. No, it's not critical even to start with. But as you grow, you can grow into a restaurant business, but to start with, you don't need to build a restaurant before you start a food business. Number one thing is the gap and your readiness to fill that gap, and then to provide it in such a way that is valuable to people. And anybody that come across eating your food, they will want to come back for that food. Today, for that business I'm talking about, that food business, people order. They will call and make an order. Very, very important. I'm thinking that we will be winding down today in our strategies, in our business success and leadership. We will be winding down, and I know that by now you should be having a take home arising from today. From business can succeed if there is value to be created, and not just creating value, you build a system of sustainability around it. Of course, for business to succeed, you need to know how to manage people, and that's where leadership comes in, which is your ability to influence, to motivate, to create a lasting impact, and then to service people. Right. Okay. Let me see if you can take one more question. One more question to go. All right. Okay, someone is asking here that as a marketer, is it advisable to add price on anything I've been given to sell by my boss? Maybe, for instance, you are giving something of 45,000 and then you sell them at 60,000. Well, we need to get something clear. When you say as a marketer, if you are working for your boss, maybe in your office, you have an office, you have or you have a shop, and you are working for your boss, and you are the salesperson in that office, and your boss has asked you to sell product at so amount, it will not be right for you to put price, to add money to how much you have been asked to sell. But this is entirely different from where you are a marketer to an organization. A marketer to an organization. Now, when you are a marketer to an organization, maybe you are a dealer and they are giving you product to sell. So you want to ensure that you sell the products to people in such a way that it will guarantee patronage. The number one thing is not about gain as a marketer, is to create visibility for the product you are selling. So it depends on the relationship you have with the organization you are selling for. For instance, maybe they want to be giving you commission based on what you sell. So if you are on a commission basis, then you need to be careful by unnecessarily putting price on what you have been asked to sell. Otherwise, you might eventually kill the business. Except where you have so much a patronage such that you can add a little on top of what you have been given to sell, but not when you are selling for your boss in an office that you are going to be adding price. Otherwise, you send customers away. And in fact, if your guy should get to know that you are adding price to people, and by the way, who takes what you have added? But if you are a freelance marketer, you are marketing for an organization, probably you are on an agreed commission level. Yeah, apart from your commission, dependent people are willing to pay more. But again, an organization can also tell you how much they want you to sell their product because they are going to compensate you on a commission. If they ask you to sell their product on a certain amount, don't go and be selling the product much more than the price, the market price they have given to that product. Otherwise, you may be killing that brand, because don't forget, you are going to be remunerated with commission. And you need to take note of that. All right. Thank you very much again, distinguished friends, for staying with us today. It's been a long time together with me today on this frequency, and I'm so excited for all our comments and our feedbacks and our questions. I know that we've been able to answer some few questions. Well, I may not have been able to answer all your questions. You can still reach out to me via our social media page, and then we'll be able to see how to respond to all your questions as in due time. I would like to thank everyone for coming to join us on this live stream today. I believe that after now, your business will succeed, and you will do well as a leader. Don't ever forget, leadership is not about the position. It's about the impact. It's about the service. It's about the influence you make. So that when you are no longer there, physically present as a leader, you can still earn the respect. Don't forget, the highest level of influence that you can earn as a leader is respect. The pinnacle of your leadership influence is respect. Number one is the right of your position, where you grow from positional level that gives you right to relationship, where people give you permission because there's a relationship. They give you permission, certain permission into their lives, of course, and that takes you to the level where you are producing result. But then producing result alone by yourself is not enough as a leader. You want to grow to a level where you can reproduce the result through people, and that is where people management come in. And of course, the pinnacle, which is the respect that people give to you, whether you are occupying a position or you are not occupying a position. Positional leadership is limited, but personal leadership will take you far. And it is personal leadership in your business that will guarantee your business sustainability. Even when you are no longer there or when you are gone, your business will still be sustainable and will still be enduring. On this note, I would like to thank you so much, so much, uh, so much for being with us today. It's been a long while, so and I want to wish you a lovely week ahead. And then if you have more questions, you can send me your questions, and I will be able to deal with your questions. And let me quickly also say, as I close tonight, that leadership is not limited to office. It's not limited to the business. It's also important in the home. As a man, you are meant to be a leader in your home. In which case, you must be a visionary man of the house, leading your family, leading your home. And it's that way you can be followed, where they are convinced that you have a vision, you have a goal, you have a plan, and you will command the followership of people where your visionary thinking is not in doubt. All right. Thank you so much one more time. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. And thank you. See you again. I'm sure we will be having um, at intervals sessions like this, where we'll be dealing with critical issues of life. And thank you. See you again. And bye for now. Bye. I think we see